if you guys are delivering, I think you said 49,000 homes by 2031 is the goal. And then we still need so much more building. Like, what suggestions would you have to the federal or provincial or municipal governments to really expedite this process in terms of whatever it might be, incentives, difference in policy? How do you think about that?
I'm thinking there's some of the programs that are in place right now that are helping, like basically the condominium market in Canada has softened a lot. You see a lot more.
It's a nice way to put it.
Yeah. Well, some people say it's dead, but you see, because of CMHC's program, low financing, you see a lot of rental being built. Right? So what kind of program do we need on both sides? Vancouver, the provincial government has started an attainable housing program. And one of our projects where we have a GV 50-50 ownership with the MST Nation, the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh Nation, and where the province will take 40% of the mortgage.
Interesting.
And the buyer, and it's for, fireman, firefighter, all of this is really a frontline worker. They'll pay 60% of the cost. So that's a model. Is it scalable across the country? That remains to be seen. But that's a model that is being tested. Other model, rental. But really, if we want to accelerate that, there's light at the end of the tunnel. See, there's been more start of the construction in the last quarter. So we're starting to see that. But think about, I'll come back to my Texas property at 30 months to end the key to the tenant, from the purchase to ending the key. So the construction's been done, the zoning's been done, all of this has been done in 30 months. I mean, we have a lessons to learn here.
Oh, totally.
How could we do that? How can we accelerate? Is that because we don't have enough people working on planning in those large cities and even some of the smaller ones?
I feel like they need to be more efficient.
Could they be more efficient? Maybe we should take an example of south of the border. I'm not saying everything's perfect in the United States. We'll see next week if we end up with tariffs, but and that could hurt the construction industry again, and by the time I
think bonds will drop on that news if that happens, but
So I think there's a lot of effort needs to be done by the three level of government in order to push and to deliver housing. Take the barrier out of the way of developer. Developer are not only people that, I was talking to one colleague in Atlantic, people in this housing crisis, the developer have been looked at as the bad people, really, right? Oh, they make tons of money, but they put a lot of money on the line. And sometime for a small return, when you're starting building condominium or think about it, you sold 70% of your condominium in 2020, right in the pandemic, or 2021.
You deserve to make some money.
Well, now the cost of material has gone up by 40% since then. The cost of labor approximately by 40%. The development charge that went up also by 40% during that period. Now, what are you going to do? You sell 70% of those condo at this price. You will need to sell the other one double to make the difference.
Yeah.
And you got to build that. A lot of
guys are going broke, actually.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think the developer are looked at the bad people in all of this. But I think if we want the construction to start again, and if we want to supply those 5 million homes, we're going to have to, release a little bit of pressure. Development charge, as an example.
Yes.
They're fairly high in most city. Development charge, speed of approval. So you have a guaranteed return at some point because while you're building 5, 6, 7% interest on your money that you're paying out because you borrowed.
Yeah.
I mean, we all have to put our hands in this wheel and start making it turning faster.
Totally. It's also important for maybe some of our audiences in Toronto, or a good percentage of them, and they see the challenges, all of this, 7 to 9 year timeline. That sounds like what they see. Of course, that's like Toronto, Vancouver, and then other provinces are a little bit faster. The housing crisis is less pronounced. When you say development is happening because bonds are ticking down, I honestly don't see it. I see almost nobody putting shovels in the ground, but that's Toronto. And then when you stretch outside and you guys are at a national scale, it's like, oh, it can work.
It is happening. There is still provinces, and I don't want to single out Alberta, but development is happening.
Oh, totally.
It is Calgary. We have project in Calgary. We have project in Edmonton.
Mm-hmm.
These are booming. These are.
Imagine if the oil taps turn on.
Exactly.
Nuts.
It's and the approval process is fairly quick.
Yeah.
And I won't say I haven't calculated how many years it is, but it's extremely quick. If you compare to other city across the country, is a lot faster.
Yeah.
So that helps us to develop. But could we take example from the city and transfer that east and west?
No rent control. Yeah. Yes.
There's all kinds of.
I do agree. There's a lot to learn that we could improve.